Hey, this is Ronald from Math Skills University, and welcome to Davinci Resolve 20 for Beginners. To make this fun, we are going to recreate this Mad Design House 30-second fashion commercial. Every design, every stitch, every finishing button is a reflection of you. Your style, your success, and your life. So, always show up and make a statement. Okay, today I'm in, of course, Davinci Resolve 20, and this is the free version. For a detailed look, check out this video, which I'll link below, as well as my Davinci Resolve playlist. A quick 5-minute overview will go like this. On the bottom, we have 7 modules or pages. We have media here, and here's where I can handle and manage all my media. Over here we have the cut module or page. I rarely use this. And then over here we have the edit page, which most people use the most. Fusion's over here. Fusion's a little bit complicated, but it is phenomenal. Next to it we have color, and this is what Davinci Resolve is known for. Next to that we have Fairlight, or this is where we can manage our sound. And then we have Deliver, or this is where we can export our projects. Up to the left, if we click on Davinci Resolve and go down to Preferences, we can make changes here. I recommend you go through this. I have a comprehensive video on Davinci Resolve which goes over all of this. On the opposite of that, cat-a-corner down to the right, click on this tool icon or the project settings, and we can make changes here. Let's go back over here to our editing page. The first thing I did with this ad was to create my voiceover. That was 24 seconds. So I recorded that, and you can record your own video assets. They're numerically laid out. Create a folder, then go over to media and link your folders and bring in your assets. So this way you don't have to relink them later on. And what we're going to do first, I'm going to bring in my voiceover. Then I'll go to my videos, Control or Command plus A as in Apple to select everything and drag them all down. Then we have to go to our music. We have our 2 soundtracks there. And just to get something going, I'm going to pop in a swoosh. And you can go to YouTube or any place just to get different sound effects. I get mine mainly from Epidemic Sound. This is how I would start this. Now I have everything laid out. So if I jump back over here to Edit, now all of my files are there. If I click on Media Pool, I can get rid of that and just have my timeline. Let's bring Media Pool back. My effects are here. We'll look at that later. To get rid of this master, click on this right here. The first thing we're going to bring down is our voiceover, and I'll bring that down and pop it down right there. I have a video track here, audio track here. Left double click in that. I can change the name of that. If I want to add another video track, just right click here and add track. Track number 2. A little bit different in audio. Right click on audio and go add track, but now you're going to make sure what you want here. I'm going to just make it basic stereo, because we're going to need 2 audio tracks. So this is my voiceover, and this is what this sounds like. Every design, every stitch. This is 24 seconds. Now we have 2 songs. So one's going to go the length of this VO or voiceover, and that's going to be Ride With Me. Let's bring it down to the bottom. Okay, so I want those beats. We want this to be a little bit lower because I'm talking. I don't want to do audio ducking with this. I just want to keep this simple. We're going to turn the music down a little bit. Your style. That's good enough. Let's go to the end of this. Make sure I have the music selected and not the voiceover. Control or Command plus B as in boy. Let's cut that. All right, still 24 seconds. Now we're going to bring down our second song. Straight Fuego. We're going to pop that right there. The reason that snaps is because this is on or off. So now we have our Fuego track. We're going to scroll down here, and if I look up here, I want this to be 30 seconds. Right there, cut that. Now, click on this. I can see everything in my timeline, and this is what we have. Let's check it out. Every design, every stitch, every finishing button is a reflection of you. Your style, your success, and your life. So, always show up and make a statement. I want you guys to play around with this. So here's one swoosh I can bring in at the bottom. If I want to alter my voiceover, I can click on this, go down to Fairlight. And over in Fairlight, this is my audio. I have a mixer, sound effects, equalizer. I can do so many things here. Over here, I have a really deep pool of different things I can do to the audio. With that said, let's jump back over. Again, we're trying to keep this simple for now. What I do now is I will go down here, and every time I say something, every design, every stitch, just to say stitch, so I'll press M as in Mary. And in this video, I had male, female, male, female, male, 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 and just kind of switched them off. So I use color codes, like blue for men, and then here, then I can change that color code to maybe pink. But this tells you where you're bringing your next video. You also, at this point, probably want to save your project, so press Control or Command plus S as in Sam to save your project. Now let's start bringing our video assets. So it's bringing the first one. And here I didn't do a whole lot. I brought it down every design to where it changed. So I knew at this point I had to bring in sewing. Here I can just cut that, or just grab the end here and just bring it all the way down, and it's cut right there. Number 2 comes in. And here, make sure you have snap and stuff on, because you want to make sure this changes on the dime. Every stitch. Here it's every finishing button. Now you're going to bring in different clips, number 3 and number 4. Cut that. If you hit delete, that's what's going to happen. So let's go back. Let's undo that. Control Command plus Z as in zebra. You always want to press backspace. Bring down number 3. We'll cut that right there. And number 4. So this is where we have to have a new clip. So I can press M right there and do this all the way down my timeline. Every design, every stitch, every finishing button. Now we can see some formatting issues as well. Let's see how that's formatted. We have 4K, we have 1080p. We have to make those adjustments in a second. And now we go on and make our other changes. So this can come out a little bit more about right there. Then we go to our next video and we bring her down. The reflection of you. So when I say of you, I need to make a change there. And let's bring in our other video. Because you want the guy to be in the mirror of you. And I'm sure by now you get the point. And you can change this on the voice, the VO, the voiceover, or on your beat. So, always show up. Right there, we want to bring in the lady popping up or coming down. You can flip it if you want. We'll cut that right there. However, that has to fit between here and here. We can do some speed ramping. Click on the video clip, press Control or Command plus R. Or you can right click and then go up here to Read Time Controls. And now we're going to click on this arrow where it says 100%, because if you want to change this just to 200% or whatever, we can just do that here, even up to 800%. Always show up. We don't want to do that though. We want to do some speed wrapping. So go click right here and click Add Speed Point. Then you walk down, add another speed point there. Click again on that arrow, going down, add speed point. And then go about right here. Click on the arrow one more time and add speed point. Now we're trying to get this from here to there. So the quickest way to do that now is to grab this. We want the end to speed up anyway, right? So move it over. We can slow that down. And I'm going to make this 200%. Always show up and make. That's kind of what we want. So let's change this 200. Let's go back to this and change that to, gotta go 800 on that. Then I can grab the whole thing and just put it in like that. And we can change how fast or slow it goes by changing this over. If it doesn't want to go, just pop it over like that. And this is what we'll have. That was slow. We just want to go always show up and make. So we want that kind of drop. Then we have 2 more videos to come in this section here. So we're going to bring in the guy with the suit against the wall. This is 4K. We have to change that. And this is just to straight speed ramp. Press Control or Command plus R is in red. And let's change this speed to 400. Let's try that. And make a. Then we'll bring in the guy. We don't have to do much on him. Let's drag this over. But I just want to, again, get this. And make a statement. So now we pop into the music. And these are going to be a lot of shorts. So we'll bring in our next video of the guy on the desk. Here you want to change it more to the music. That's a change. Drag it over and bring in the remaining video clips. And you can add different clips here. Depends on how many you're working with. But it's going to end on this guy looking back and walking away. Boom. Press this. That's what we have. And let's go ahead and look at where things change. If I want to get rid of these extra tracks right here, right click and click delete empty tracks. If I want to bring this up, click right here and scroll it up to make these bigger so I can see my files better. I can also drag this up and bring everything up. If I want to make this bigger, I'll grab this and drag it down. And now I'll grab this again and bring it down. That's how we can see everything. But if I hold Shift, I can change that section, or go over to the video section and hold Shift, or change that section. And that's important when you're editing because you want to see everything. Since I have all my video files on my timeline, I can go up here now to Media Pool and just remove that. So now I just have my timeline. Over here I have Inspector. If I click on anything, I can go over here and make changes via the inspector. If you don't see it, just click on it. But this is how this looks. And let's go ahead and hear it and see where we need to make changes to the videos. Every design, every stitch, every finishing button is a reflection of you. So this should be right here. Of you. So I can grab that and bring them both over. Button is a reflection of you. Your style, your success, and your life. So always show up and make a statement. When I say statement, something should happen there. I should bring this back here, but now I can drag this up and make a statement. So right here, I can see what that should have changed. You can see that right there. This has to be dragged back. Drag that over. This comes over. Again, not trying to be perfect here. It should just stop right there. I can just bring it back too. That's where it should stop. You can see how these are flushed out at 16:9 or 1080p, and the ones that are 4K have a black line here. So what we want to do is click on that video clip, go over here to this little drop-down menu, and click on Transform. If I hold down Control, I can maintain my perspective here. Hold down Control and drag down with your mouse until you flush out the frame. And you can move it around if you want as well. And then now with Transform still selected, I can go and look at all the other videos. This one needs to be adjusted. Hold down Control or Command and scroll out a little bit. And then one more. Okay. Now what you want to do is make sure you highlight all your video clips. Right click and go up here to where it says Render Cache Fusion Output. Make sure it's on. Go up here to Playback, go down here to Render Cache and make sure it's on Smart. Go back up to Playback and then go down here to Fusion Memory Cache, make sure it's on. What you'll see now are red or blue lines above your videos. The red means it's not rendered, the blue means it's rendered. Make sure you render before you try to export or play it back. To see this full screen, I can press Control or Command plus F as in Frank. And let's see what we have. Every design, every stitch, every finishing button is a reflection of you. Your style, your success, and your life. So always show up and make a statement. I didn't like that switch, so I want to move that switch over to her when she shows up right here. When she comes down, I added a different switch to this. This should pop underneath this just a little bit. I'm going to shorten this up a little bit here and bring it over. Let's see what we have. So, always show up and make a statement. Now that we have our storyboard laid out, I locked all the other tracks over here and muted the music. And I just want to scroll down my timeline here. And this is zoomed in. So what I want to do here is zoom in on his hands so they're both zoomed in. Left click on the clip, go over here, click on this arrow. We can transform things here, crop them, or do a dynamic zoom. Click on dynamic zoom. We start in the green area and we're going to end with the red. Just grab the dots on the end. We're going to end inside his hands there. Let's take the green box, hold Control or Command, click on a corner or a dot, and just scroll down with the mouse and flush out the screen. Now click on the dot inside the red. We're about right here. And let's scroll down again and see how that works. Okay, now we can turn this off. Just left click on it and it's off. This is our transition. Okay, that's good enough. But once I have a zoom selected, if I go over here to my inspector, here's my dynamic zoom here, I can change that. Ease in, ease out, and do some different things over there. But right here, when she flips her collar, that should be sped up a little bit too. Left click on the video, press Control or Command plus R as in red. Now we have our time change. Hold down Alt or Option and scroll up on your mouse. Move this out of the way. Click right here on the down arrow. Let's add a speed point right there. Take it to where you want the speed point to be added and then add speed point. Let's move over to right there. And let's add an additional speed point. This is what we want to speed up. So if I go left, slows down, that's going to speed up. Then I can take this part and stretch it out. Let's see what we have. Is a reflection of you. And let's start bringing in some different effects or a transition. And again, this isn't perfect, but if I go up here to effects, I have video transitions, dissolve. What dissolve looks like, just scroll across it. Blur dissolves. But what's cool, if I take any dissolve or any thing and just drop it down and I go across, that's what that looks like. I can shorten it up right here. Just grab it and bring it over. If I left click on it and go up here to the inspector, here's my transition, and I can change a lot of things here. If I click on transition type, I can select all of these transitions right here in this drop down menu. Play around with this. I'm not going to go in detail, but there's so many transitions that you can use for free. And dip to color, and I can change the color it dips to. There's all these different types of transitions. I'm not going to go over them all now, but just play around with these transitions. It just goes on and on. But let's drop a few down. A few here, and I don't want to do anything too cheesy here. We'll shorten it up. And I'm just being random here. And as you can see, it's going to render up here. If you do drop in a transition that is studio version, it will tell you this message may come up. So just click not next. Let's try to bring it down. Those are just some of the transitions you can bring down. And in this one, I added a camera shake. So if I go over here to effects, there's a lot of different effects I can use as well. I just want to show you there's so many different things that you can bring down here. And once you bring them down, you can play with them over here in the inspector, like a directional blur or whatever. And that's what I use on this particular clip right here. And I can change the amount of blur. And there's a graphic overlay. So there's a lot of things we can do right here in the effects section. And then you have open effects or other kind of filters. And we can have a box blur, And that's what I used here, a Gaussian blur. There's a directional blur, and that's right here. If I want to find something, I go up here and click on the magnifying glass. Then I'll type in camera, like camera shake. And here's a camera shake. So sometimes you want to shake up the video. We can do that here when she pops up, for example. I can left click on that, go up here to the inspector, and now I can change how much she's going to shake, what direction she shakes in. At this point, I had her as a watercolor. So there's your camera shake. And then here, you can make her easily a watercolor figure and change some of that in those parameters. There's so many effects you can bring in that are from OpenFX as well. Also, if you want to bring in titles, that's pretty simple. Just go down here and click on titles, and all this is in effects. And you have different types of titles here. If you go down here, you'll see there's all types of titles you can play with and sample with. And some of these are for the paid studio version only, which is around $300. And some of these animate, they move around. But let's just bring in a basic custom title. We're going to pop it down here at the end. Then click on it and stretch it out till it fits your frame like this. Then we'll go over here to inspector and we'll type in MADEditing house. And that's what we have. That's going to render. And again, bring in any type of text you want. And we can size it and move it. I can change the font right here to whatever I want. We'll go with that one, change the size. Then we can have it come in really small. If I select keyframing, I can keyframe all of this, or just areas that I want to keyframe. We'll do something like that. Go to the beginning of the frame, use your arrow keys right there. Let's make the size disappear. Make sure that's selected. Drag it down to right here, halfway. Let's make it go halfway all the way out. Have it move some more. And then at the very end, and then we'll have it disappear. So then I will just cut that, Control Command B as in boy, backspace, let that render, but that's what we'll have. In this video clip, we have some keyframing going on. You can see that right there. And if I click on keyframe up here, now I can see that keyframe. If I put it on parameters, we can see the keyframing and what it's doing. If I go over here to this drop down menu where this hamburger is, and I change it to keyframe curves, now I see the curve for that keyframe. And what's cool about that is I can grab this curve and just change it around anywhere I want. And you couldn't do that before, so that's awesome. Okay, moving on. If I want to put a digital effect on this, pop it on her. I left click on that, go up to effects. Here's my digital effect. I can change some of the parameters. Here's your color border. Of course, I can pop that down anywhere. Left click it, go over here and change the size, the width of that border, the color. There are so many different effects you can use. There's also OpenFX effects. You have the motion blurs, directional blurs, but there's just so many things you can do. Like this would say Davinci Resolve Studio, which costs about $300. These are audio effects things, and you can find all of these in Fairlight over here. Let's jump into color for a second. Go down here to color, your color module or page. This is my curve, so I can just click on this and just drag it down for darker and up and move it all around. If I don't like it, reset it, just click right here to reset that. I can do a lot of things in this color module, and there are other lessons out there, but quick color correction I can do, and the clip is right here. I want to take this and grab it. Alt or Option plus S as in Sam, create a second node. We're going to work on this node, leaving this one intact. Click on that one. If I go down here, I can auto balance this video. Click on A. Click on this and just click on A for auto balance. And when it comes up, you'll see any changes, like here's my curve, here's my auto balance. Press Control Command plus F as in Frank to go full screen. Then I press Control Command plus D as in David. I can see before and after. And then you can actually copy that to all of your other nodes. You can also bring in different LUTs and other things over here. Black Magic LUT, different LUTs from different movie sets. And this program does a lot. If I want to do auto white balance, I can click on this dropper here, drag it over to the whitest part of the video and click that. And sometimes some videos are extra white and you see it makes changes. Yeah, it's not substantial, but that's how you do that. You can also change some of the color, saturation, and things like that over here. But any changes you make here will show up back over here on your editing page. So those are just some of the things we can do to get rid of that. Just click it again. And I know I changed this a little bit from the trailer, but that's the whole point. If I'm done with this, I want to export this. I can do a quick export here. Or I can go down here to deliver. Over here to the left, name my project where I want it to go. And most of this is pretty straightforward, right? QuickTime, MP4, QuickTime, whatever you want. There are videos out here on that. If I want to change this part, I can change it up here. If you want it to go directly to YouTube or any social media platform, you can do that. If you're bringing stuff in from Final Cut or Adobe Premiere, you can do that as well. Anyway, let's go ahead and add this to the render queue, which pops up over here. This is where it's going to go. Job 1. I could rename that, but let's go ahead and render. Let's take a look at what we have. And again, this isn't perfect. I know I changed it a lot, but I just want to kind of deviate so you can see exactly what it is I'm doing. Every design, every stitch, every finishing button is a reflection of you. Your style, your success, and your life. So, always show up and make a statement. At least now you know how to use DaVinci Resolve. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please leave them below. Check out my complete lesson on this and my DaVinci Resolve playlist. If you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'm wishing you and yours the very best. Peace.